Welcome first-time listeners and returners to the Sports Deli, where everyone deserves a seat at the table. What about fucking Colin? Why does he not have a fucking job? Because he's still being whiteballed. Why is Tom not speaking out about that? He should be his biggest fucking ally. And he hasn't said one fucking thing. A lot of people that have come on this show, I don't know why, they've gotten some good fucking jobs afterwards. Jim Rome in the jungle. It's right here in the Sports Deli, baby. We got some good ass karma right here. Let's fucking go.
I love it.
Man.
I love it.
We hope you enjoy today's show, everyone.
All right, let's rock and roll. Today's podcast is brought to you by my Amazon shop. Check it out at amazon.com/shop/the Sports Deli. And you can see all the products that I've done videos on, my idea list, and my shoppable photos. I may enjoy today's show. Do we have to refer to him as Mr. Duncan? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, please, I'm very formal, Secretary Duncan.
There you go. Exactly.
Just put a sir on the end of it. Secretary Duncan, sir.
Well, because, Jay Billis always said that he could never call Coach K Mike, even after all these years, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mike's a different level. I'm not. So it's all good.
All right, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Hootie Hoot, host and producer of the Sports Daily Podcast. I was just getting ready to go walk my dog, and I got my coffee this morning, a white mocha, Subsoy, which they don't charge you for anymore. Only 2 pumps of white mocha, no whip. And I was responding to a post on Instagram. And before I tell you a little bit more about that in this episode, which will probably be the final episode of Season 5 of the Sports Daily Podcast, I feel like I'm giving a eulogy. But I'm actually inspired this morning. So I thought about what I wanted to say when it came to Caitlin Clark. Everybody's been commenting about her comments in Time Magazine after being selected Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. It's really easy to make comments and talk about Caitlin Clark because she's so polarizing. So whatever side you're on, whether you feel like she bent the knee, whether you feel like she did the right thing, whatever side you're on, it's really easy to talk about her. But I'm going to also talk about somebody else today who I guarantee you anybody watching or listening to this has never heard of. And her name. Today's episode is also brought to you by my YouTube shop right here in the Sports Deli. Now, I have nearly 1,000 items, and you can see all the different things that you can buy on my shop, from computers to earbuds to dog toys. It is amazing. So if you've never checked out YouTube Shop before, check it out right now. And between Amazon and my YouTube shop here in the Sports Deli, I may make a commission on any qualifying purchase, but it's at no extra cost to you. And for those of you listening, if you've never been to my YouTube channel and you want to check out more podcasts in video form, or check out my YouTube shop, it's at youtube.com/the @Mike Hootner, all one word. I guarantee you anybody watching or listening to this has never heard of. And her name is Crystal Bradford. And you'll see her right here. And right now she's playing in China. She went to Central Michigan University. She has played in the WNBA. And she was in a regrettable situation when she was with the Atlanta Dream, along with Courtney Williams. And she has been trying to work her way back into the W as one of the most skilled players still in the world, according to me, yours truly. Now, for those of you that don't know, I've had a lot of professional women's basketball players from the W, from the original W, the WBL, from overseas. And I've followed Crystal's career ever since she came on the show, not to share her story, but to show love and support for the past. She came on one of my previous episodes with the women of the WBL, the Women's Basketball League, which was the original W, just to simply listen, to learn more about what it was like for those women who started playing professional basketball and were part of the first professional women's basketball league in the history of the United States. She wanted to learn more about the history of her sport. So we periodically communicate, and I continue to watch and learn more about her and continue to be inspired by her journey. Now, with Caitlin Clark, like I said, it's very easy to comment one way or the other. And my feelings about Caitlin Clark are twofold. Number one, I don't understand how anybody, although you're entitled to your opinion, can tell her about her truth. So in the same way that she said she needed some time after going from her historic last 2 years of her college career to the WNBA without a break, she needed some time to digest everything that has happened, talk to her team, and make a decision on how she wanted to talk about, hello, everything that's happened with regards to a lot of her so-called fans, the racist tropes that have since ensued, which is just part of society. There are still a lot of racist people out there who claim, many of them, to be Caitlin Clark fans. And so I don't think anybody should criticize her for her being her authentic self. She truly feels in her heart that she wants to talk about the women that built the WNBA, and I really don't want to hear about anybody that says the NBA built the WNBA. Now, have women of the WNBA been unrelatable in many cases? Yes. But the reality also is that the media never gave them a chance, never truly invested in women's sports like we've seen in the last 2 to 3 years, from volleyball to rugby to women's basketball. And yes, there has never been anybody like Caitlin Clark other than Tiger Woods, maybe Mike Tyson. And so she single-handedly has changed the way that we see women's sports. She goes to golf tournaments, and there are crowds at LPGA events like we've never seen before. Like, it's remarkable. So again, it's really easy to talk about Caitlin Clark and the impact that she's had. But to say that she bent the knee and that she is either being woke or apologizing for her whiteness, I swear to God, I don't think people understand what she's saying. And I just can't for the life of me understand the criticism. I think she's aware. I think she's being authentic. I think it is remarkable. And I called this 2 years ago when I said there was going to be a time when she didn't have to, just like I've criticized Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning and Eli Manning and Tony Romo and Troy Aikman for never standing up for Colin Kaepernick publicly. And they single-handedly, because they did not kneel and did not speak out, cost him his career. But I digress. So I applaud. I stand 10 toes down. I stand up. I take my hat off to Caitlin Clark for pulling a Paige Beckers, who in 2021 at the ESPYs leveraged her platform to talk about, in particular, the black and brown women of the WNBA and how they built this league. History reveals itself. And so Caitlin Clark is leveraging her platform to bring notoriety and attention to some of the most incredible women, many of which have been on this show, that nobody knows about, but simply talk about the unrelatability, which in part it has been true, but again, it's also been partly the league's fault and the media's fault for not giving the WNBA and other women's sports the attention that it so richly deserves, because you can see now that it's not just a charity situation. It is a worthy investment. And it is so exciting to be watching women's sports. The second thing is, if most of the black and brown community, with regards to what Caitlin Clark said, appreciates what she's saying, even though there are a few outliers and race baiters, why are white people so arrogant to think that they know better than Caitlin herself and those in the black and brown community, especially those women in the WNBA? I just don't understand it. We are so arrogant as white people that we can't just defer and say, well, if that's the way that the black and brown community feels, maybe I should just shut up and listen and learn and digest everything and look at it from their perspective. But we can't do that. We have to criticize her and say that she bent the knee and that she's going woke and she's apologizing for being white. She's not apologizing for being white. She's recognizing that she can still go into spaces as a white person that the black and brown community cannot. And this is directly from the black and brown professional athletes, the guests that I've had on this show. It is disingenuous and intellectually dishonest if you think that there are people in the black and brown community that can still go into certain spaces and get into their cars and get behind the wheel of their cars, and it is identical as a white person. If you think a black person that goes into Banana Republic is going to be looked at the same way as me, unless I look like I'm dressed as a bum, as a social experiment, if you think they're going to be looked at the same way, you are living in a dream world. It is not equal. Is it better than it was 30 years ago? In many ways, of course. Do people in the black and brown community continue to have those conversations with their children about what to do when they get behind the wheel of a car? Is there still racial profiling? A friend of mine is a cop of 30 years, and he says absolutely there's racial profiling. So how about we listen to the black and brown community and not be so arrogant to think that we know better than them and we know better than Caitlin? It's just outrageous to me that she felt some sort of pressure to do this. No, she didn't. She didn't have to. We don't know the context of the questions when it came to what the interviewer was asking her with regards to the Time Magazine Athlete of the Year interview. Caitlin has given us no reason to not believe her. She has been authentic through and through. Is she Paige Beckers? No. But in my opinion, she did the right thing because she was authentically herself. And she felt passionate about this. And if you don't know that her favorite player was Maya Moore growing up, who is a black woman, a brown woman, and if you don't know Maya Moore's story as to why she basically retired from the WNBA and who her husband is and what she did to fight for social injustice, for an injustice for her husband who was in jail for something he didn't do, if my recollection serves me correctly, for over a decade. If you think there aren't inequalities and things that are disproportionate with regards to the black and brown community, with regards to people in jail, and you think Caitlin Clark is not mindful of that, not just that Maya Moore was her favorite player, but what she stood for, what she stands for, what she gave up her career for, you think Caitlin Clark is not aware of that? Come on, man. You're going to criticize her for uplifting the black and brown women who have fought so hard for equality all these years? And you're going to spin the narrative as the NBA has funded this league for years. Amazon lost money for 18 years. Now you can say, well, the WNBA is losing money for going on what's going to be the 28th year. It doesn't matter, man. They're going to turn a profit eventually. It's just amazing to me. Now let me get back to Crystal. Now, my response to Crystal, you see how easy it was for me to talk about Caitlin? It's very easy for me to talk about Crystal as well. But I want you, even if it's the usual 50 people that listen or watch my podcast, to familiarize yourself with Crystal Bradford, because she is one of the most remarkable women that I've ever got to know. Like I said, she went to Central Michigan University. She played in the WNBA. She has had unthinkable loss in her life. And like all of us, whether the pandemic had happened or not, we go through ups and downs in life. And as a woman of color, as a black and brown woman, and in the spaces that she's having to navigate, not to mention redemption, and getting general managers and coaches to believe in her, not necessarily as a player, but that she is worthy of another chance of not just playing overseas, but in the WNBA. It is an unimaginable journey, to be honest with you. I'm not a woman. I'm not a black woman. I'm not a woman who is in the LGBTQIA plus community. And I'm not somebody who played professionally. I'm not, although I played in college for 4 years, and I coached college basketball on the men's and women's side for 24 years, 33 overall. But I can't imagine what it must be like, unlike Caitlin Clark, who it hasn't come easy, but because of her style of play, because of her relatability, yes, because she's white, she hasn't had to go through the challenges of somebody like Crystal Bradford. There's a lot more Crystal Bradfords out there than there are Caitlin Clarks. And so now she's in China, not playing in front of that many fans, and still having to prove herself. She's averaging a double-double. And there are some good players over there. Camila Cardoso is her teammate. Kennedy Carter is over there playing. And there are other WNBA players that are playing in China. And they make good money over there, as these women have had for decades going overseas in a number of different countries. Australia, Russia. We are most famously made aware of Diana Taurasi's time in Russia. But there are other opportunities coming with professional basketball in Unrivaled that starts in January of 2025, started by Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. But right now, the majority of the players trying to supplement their income go overseas. And I wrote this morning on one of the highlight reels that I saw for Crystal, where she was literally showing the type of skill that you see from not many in the WNBA. She can hit the mid-range. She's left-handed. Her handles are ridiculous. She can post, has a turnaround fadeaway baseline jumper in the bag. She's a phenomenal teammate. She can board her ass off. She can shoot the three ball, and she can freaking defend. She may be a six-tool player. So yes, I love her game. She's efficient, and she's literally one of the most skilled, one of the best women's basketball players in the world. Period. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I'm not a GM. I've never coached D1. I've never coached professionally. I've been watching enough ball, especially women's professional and college basketball, in particular over the last 5 years, to know that not only should she be in the WNBA for many reasons, but she could arguably be starting. And in my opinion, anyone that scoops her up, they are instantly, not only better, but a contender for a WNBA title. She's that good. I'm telling y'all, if you don't know about her, go watch her highlights. Now, there was a point in time where she could have quit. Most would have, after not getting a chance to come back to the WNBA. Most wouldn't have gone to China. Most wouldn't have gone to all the countries that she has gone to try and prove herself again, that she's worthy of this opportunity that I hope she gets. So if there's any GMs or coaches out there listening, I have not spent any time with Crystal. I don't really know her on a personal level. I have just followed her career and supported her online. Other than her being on my podcast to show love and support for the history of the league for about an hour, I don't really know her. But I feel like she is what the league needs, what teammates need, a veteran leader, what fans will admire, what little girls should look up to, what little boys should look up to, what adults should look up to. She literally epitomizes so many things. And so what I wrote this morning when I first woke up, while my dog sits here waiting for me to go for our morning walk, she's not happy about it. And I returned each of these first few words before writing in normal paragraph form. One, return, of, return, and you get the picture. The most talented and skilled players in the world, period. Fans, GMs, coaches, thank me later. Freaking baller. And then I, from this point on, wrote in paragraph form. There's a lot of ballers out there, but not many have, quote unquote, it. CB, those are her initials, Crystal Bradford. You have it. From your why to who you are as a person, as a teammate, your remarkable spirit and work ethic, and love, passion, and respect for the game, you are one of a kind. Your journey is nothing short of inspiring and incredible. Keep being amazing. I wasn't trying to make her feel good or had any hidden agenda so I can get a job later. That's just what I felt at the moment, and I just wanted to share that with her and whoever else was reading her posts. She said thank you. So this was my response to her. I literally was in tears as I was writing this, as I shared in this post. I said, no, thank you. Here we go. It's a good thing I talked about these other things first, otherwise I don't know if I could have got through this. No, thank you. You inspire me to be the best version of myself. Now, let me remind you, there are things that I know that I'm not going to reveal in today's episode of the podcast that she has had to overcome that most would probably have a difficult time navigating. And the way that she has navigated so many different spaces, epitomized so many amazing things, is why I felt the need to share this, even if there's only 10 people that maybe look at this. Because not many people know about her and her journey. But I hope someday she does come on the show and share the things that she's been through in hopes of maybe in some way, some cathartic kind of way, some therapeutic, maybe healing kind of way, it helps her in a safe space, but also inspires many others, adults and kids alike. No, thank you. You inspire me to be the best version of myself. You see what I did there? If I keep talking, then I can sort of take the emotion out of it so I can maybe get through this. No, thank you. You inspire me to be the best version of myself. As I tear up writing this, I'm reminded because of you to not quit and give up on my dreams the way you haven't. You think I give a fuck that I'll have been in my 37th year of coaching in 2029 when I pursue my dream of becoming a Division I assistant coach? No. Are the odds against me as a 59-year-old white male? Yep. But that will not stop me, nor will anyone or anything. It's bigger than ball when you have something so deep you can't really explain it. I meant what the fuck I said about you and about what you've done for not just me, but for so many teammates and young women out there. And real soon, you're going to be playing in front of sold-out arenas. And with that, you're going to inspire so many more and teach them about mental toughness, mental health, the importance of betting on yourself, even when you feel like no one believes in you anymore, and taking Mamba to another level. You are a light to yourself, to me, and so many others. Don't ever forget that. The best is yet to come. So, those are my thoughts about Caitlin Clark and the amazing Crystal Bradford. And I hope this inspires at least one person, if not more. I hope you do a little bit more research on Crystal. I hope you follow her. I hope you appreciated my perspective on Caitlin. And I think the best is yet to come with her as well. Would love for you to comment, subscribe, even if you disagree. And please always feel free to share what your journey has been like. And if we can do anything to uplift you if you're having a hard time, just know that this is a safe space, and I will always do whatever I can to protect that. You can always dial 988 if you're having a hard day, and there will be someone there 24/7, 365 to help you in any way that they can. And just know that you're not alone. And remember, please remember this. The world is absolutely a better place with you in it, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. Until next time, happy holidays, happy new year, and we'll see you in season 6. This is Hootie Hoo from the Sports Daily Podcast. Much love. Peace. Here we go. Thanks again for joining us today, everyone. Feel free to send me an email to thesportsdeli@gmail.com. Also, check out my link tree. It's /Mike Hootner. Also, like to thank a few people. 40 Tons brand is a socially conscious cannabis brand, and they're doing amazing things. Check them out. We'd also like to thank Moolah Kicks, the first ever female brand basketball shoe in the history of the world. We'd also like to encourage you, if you're having a hard day and if you're feeling like you just don't want to live anymore, all you have to do is dial 988 from any phone, and there will be someone there 24/7, 365. So don't feel like you have to fight this battle alone. Don't forget to do your self-breast and self-testicular exams every month. It's really important, as early detection is the key. Remember, Black Lives Matter. Reach out to your local and state politicians for any individual or group that you feel are being marginalized. Stop the bullying. Stop the Asian hate. Let's end gun violence with common sense laws. Let's be allies for the LGBTQIA+ community, and I challenge those of you in the white space to be anti-racist, to be bridges and vessels, to help bridge the gaps between black and white America. And remember, until next time, it takes a village, everyone. Much love. Peace.